You see that I bring power into the law enforcement programs here because I wanted to take my gender specialty and diversity background and apply it here.
Also, she's a hippie.
And I'm a hippie. And my special guest for the day and heckler is my daughter Emily. Anyway, so we've done several great things that have had really good results this term. This is just one example. And we know you're going to have lunch because we love developing it, we love testing it, and every single group has loved doing it. So how I came to know this technique that I'm calling question storming is I spent my summer reading.
She did spend her summer reading, and I had to hear all about it.
Yes.
I've never met her, but I had to hear about it.
Just One Change, and this will be the book that you will want to read if you love this technique we're just about to teach you. You can find it online at the Right Question Institute. So Rothstein and Santana have spent 20 years, they're psychologists, at developing this. There is a mountain of science behind this technique. They've added things, they've taken away things, and the method we're going to teach you today is the method that shows the best results. So it has a lot of traction. These two other books, Seeing What Others Don't, and A More Beautiful Question, is another lunch and learn that I could share.
Yep.
And basically, this is the science of studying breakthrough genius ideas. What was it that happened, or what was it that was different for the person who had the genius breakthrough? So I've taken lessons from these two books. A game, and this is actually called the Question Formulation Technique.
Yes.
However, I didn't think I could, get my first years excited about the Question Formulation Technique. So you can take this right up to the UN, to the most.
Come on in. Come on in.
Sorry, wrong room.
Oh.
Are you sure we can't convince you to come in? Oh, well, welcome. Yeah, welcome. So, when reading Make Just One Change, there was a very young child. You can do this from kindergarten right up to PhD, postgrad. You can take it from school to the military to climate change summits. It's very, very versatile. But one young elementary school student called this, she said, this is like question storming. So I just took a direct quote from that out of the mouths of babes and decided to call this the question storming game, which we've been able to rock that name much better.
And what I have found with the application of the game, what I have found in my classrooms, and I have got one first-year class, which I'd like to talk about a little bit more than my third-year class, and what we did is we played this game. So the process that we're going to go through with you people is the same process I went through with my first years. And it's about questioning as opposed to always having to answer. And what I found was that when I was asking them to look up their research topic, I just don't want them to write on the topic, I want them to ask a question, come up with a research question, form a hypothesis. They were much more adept at being okay asking the questions. I also had a guest speaker come in, and he came last year, and I know you can't directly compare classes, but he gave his presentation, and he left and he said, wow, he goes, is that ever a bright class? And I'm like, well, of course they have a bright teacher, like, why wouldn't you? And I said, oh, well, Barry, why are you saying that? And he said, well, did I have the same group last year? And I said, well, sort of. I mean, they were different people, but they were first years, this age, this numbers, etc. And he said, I couldn't believe how interested they were. And the questions that they were asking really made me have to think about how I was going to respond. And I can really only attribute that difference to the fact that we played this game that sort of triggered something about how to ask questions, how to ask intelligent questions, how to ask questions that are actually looking for an answer as opposed to just, random beacon off with, I've got a guest speaker and I'm wasting time. And so I was very interested in that extension of the guest speaker actually acknowledged this is a bright group. They're engaged. Why? Because I believe that it was Jessica introducing this to me and we rolled it out to the class. I did not do that with my third years. And the first guest speaker I had, they just sort of said, is this class, like, what's wrong with the class? And it was not about engagement, it wasn't about intelligence, it was, I don't think that they had a structure and a comfort level asking questions.
Right, so in the usual classroom, the teacher is the one asking questions and the students are always the ones answering. And actually, what our learning objective is ultimately is to train questioners. We want someone who solves climate change. They're going to have to ask a lot of questions. But how are we going to get them to solving climate change if we're not even coaching them on how to ask questions? The other technology background, what I notice when I do this technique is I'm lighting up different areas of my brain. I go from like sluggy brain, that's an official psychology term, to sparkly brain. And what that's
Another official term.
It is. So what is it about this activity that takes me out of my usual, this is how I'm going to go about this problem, to, wow, I could think this, what about that? And you can sort of feel the sparkliness of like recruiting more neural networks in this process. And we can't plug everybody's brain in today and actually measure, but that is a science that could be done to show, and it probably has been done by these PhDs. So because, just as a measure, I would like you to, privately for your own self, I'd like you to measure yourself on a 10-point scale from sluggy brain to sparkly brain. Sluggy brain is 1, sparkly brain is 10, and just pick a number about how you're feeling right now. It's okay if it's like coffee-induced sparkle, that counts. And
today, right now?
Just today, right now. Where's your brain? How much of it's awake? How many spark plugs are firing? You know, that sort of thing. And then after we're done, or partway through, I'm going to come back to how you feel about how your brain is working. So grab this is the game. There's nothing unique here. This is right off of the Right Question Institute. It has 2 sides. All I've done is put a shell, I dressed it up in a gaze closed, but it's all the mechanics. Nothing's, well, I'll be adding one new thing because we have somebody attending online. Do we know who this person is?
Not yet, I can ask.
Okay, just they can be mystery person 204, or we can have their name. We're going to try and see if we can.
Oh, it's Joanne.
Joanne.
Joanne Glover.
Well, welcome, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
So you'll be joining Krista. Can you, Krista and I didn't catch your name. Georgianne. Joanne and Georgianne and Krista will be one team, and then we'll have the other team here. So this will take a half hour. We'll walk through it step by step. And because this is an educational setting, we'll tell you why each step is important. But because we have someone attending online,
Hi.
this is your table here. Because we have someone attending, I'm going to add a step that's not online. It's not part of the protocol, but
Joanne,
it's
saying
this
hi.
step. So I'm going to give you what's called a question focus. There's a bit of an art to finding the right question focus. It has to be not, you can't lead a group to a certain conclusion. So it has to be very neutral that you can ask positive and negative questions about. So I'm going to give you a question focus. Then you're going to spend 5 minutes writing as fast as you can every question you can possibly think about the topic I'm about to tell you. Are you ready?
Just a sec, before she goes, what I want you to think about is that pen can never leave the
Exactly.
page,
Good
and
one.
it's got to keep flowing.
Spill that
So
ink.
questions have to flow and flow and flow.
There is no dumb question, there is no question too short, there's no, just keep going, okay? So I will start this, will you do the timing?
I most certainly, who's got an iPhone?
I've got,
Perfect.
Emily said.
Oh, Emily's going to be the official timer.
Yes, so I'll give you only one hint about this question focus. This is a situation, did you have a question? It'll be 5 minutes. This is a situation I have to deal with every single day. That is my hint. And the question focus is penguins in the fridge. Penguins in the fridge. Write every question you can about this. And there will be a solution at the end.
Penguin.
Can Joanne hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ask her to type.
Yeah, just type what questions there. That's a great idea. So you're the virtual Joanne then.
Sure.
Okay. Then you get a prize automatically. Yeah, for sure. No, yeah. Do you know? Yes. So we do the 5 minutes, and then we take the whatever time it says, and then just go around putting the best questions on. Oh, just talking. Yeah. If each really one. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like a free throw. Yeah.
We lost Joanna.
This is written.
Say it last one.
We lost her.
We lost
Oh,
her.
that's so sad. Hopefully she'll come back.
Go ahead. Okay.
I really want this long distance to work because it would be so cool.
I mean, the quality of the camera is not that good. I mean, we have to invest
Well,
in better.
we would have done better if you were facing into the classroom as opposed to facing the window.
In terms of lighting, yeah, but still, if you can, like, you can see that there's like
Yeah.
some.
Yeah. Pixelation.
Yeah, it's not the greatest,
Yeah.
but I mean.
How are you doing?
Okay. How are we doing for time? Halfway then. Oh, I'm hearing some giggling. That's a good sign. What's the time now? 1 minute.
30 seconds. Three, two, one. Pens off the page. All right, so the first step was the question focus, penguins in the fridge.
Let's do a quick little check-in here. Sludgy brain, sparkly brain. What's your number? Just write it down on your piece of paper. Okay, go.
Good. All right, so step one was the question focus. Step two was what we call digging deep. And what you guys have done now is you've spent 5 minutes on your own generating questions. The second part of this, you'll get 5 minutes to do this. Each team has a large sheet of paper and a number of felt pens. What we would now like you to do is to collaborate on this question process. And within the group, start reading out your favorite questions and start to list the questions, writing as many as you can from the group. If a new question pops into your mind, feel free to write that down. The idea is that you put as many questions down on this piece of paper from the group. Couple of rules though. One, fast as you can. That free flow, get the questions out as many as you can. Second rule, very difficult to do, and I'm doing it right now. Do not stop to discuss, judge, or answer any of the questions. Just get them down on paper. Remember, this is group collaboration. Whoever is writing, it is written the way the speaker speaks it. So don't start making up and changing the question. It must be written down exactly as they wrote it. And if any of you have written any of your questions as a statement, make sure that when you put it forward to the group, you reword it as a question. So again, as many questions as you can. Don't stop to judge or answer the questions. Write down every question as it's stated. And fourth, change any statement into a question. You have another 5 minutes. Are the groups ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, here's your big piece of paper.
You want to write?
3/4. Half. 1/4. And go.
She's like, I'm gonna watch
Way
it
to go.
to catch up. Okay. I think she can do it.
Do you want to do this and I've got 5 minutes to be with Joanna?
Sure.
Let me get her up.
Sure.
And you participate with Krista's team. So Naz is joining your question storming.
How mobile is your village? We have more than one writer?
We can, yeah. What's yeah,
I
because
mean,
of how
I can
many,
write.
or why are the penguin numbers? Or do you want, yeah.
Yeah. Because those have to be in one line. Another one.
Yeah, we should just.
Another one.
I'm going to try and get a couple of questions from Joanne to you.
Not judging, not judging.
Oh, you already have that.
Can everyone see the penguin?
Where is the fridge?
Oh, where's the fridge? I had that. Yeah. And I put, can everyone see them? Can everyone see them? Yeah.
Well, we got these penguins.
Okay, guys, the penguins.
Okay, how many penguins?
Yeah, how many? Yeah.
What color are they?
The size, how big?
You didn't look that.
Can you eat penguins?
So Joanne, can you hear me?
Wait, no,
Good. So this will be faster. So your job now is to ask as many questions as you can about this key focus, penguins in the fridge. If you write out your questions, I'll speak it to your
When did you
group.
first discover the penguins?
So Joanne has a question coming. So there should be, everyone's sharing everyone knows what's being written down there. Okay, good.
Oh, is penguins fun? Are they fun?
I can write down how much.
Do they fly?
Actually, why don't I read out some of the questions, Joanne? What type of penguins are these? How moldy is your fridge? How moldy is your fridge? Why are the penguins in the fridge? How old are the penguins? Where is the fridge? How many penguins are there? Do they miss Antarctica? What is the gender of them?
No, the penguins.
Of the penguins? What do they eat? How big are the penguins? How did they get into the fridge? How long are they in the fridge? So those are the kinds of questions your team's coming up with. Were they hungry? Were the penguins hungry? Keep going, Joanne. Lots of questions, as many as you can think of. I'll just read them out. And Naz will write down your answer.
Oh, yeah.
How are we for time, Em?
Just about a minute. 1 minute.
There's 1 minute left to this part, Joanne.
If they could fly, would they want to? Do we have, what do penguins do in the fridge? We have to get
Ask all the angry.
What kind of penguins? How many penguins?
They have how many penguins?
Keep going, Joanne. You've got about 30 seconds left.
Can they also live in the freezer? What type of fridge?
Are they big or small? Time, Em? 30 seconds remaining.
Are they vegetarian penguins?
10 seconds? Marion, we're down to 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Is there food in the fridge?
5 seconds.
Okay, that should be it for now, Joanne. Hold on.
3, 2, 1. Hands up. All right, what I'd like you to do is go back to our sluggy brain, sparkly brain continuum. And after the collaboration 5 minutes, where are you? Where is your brain on that continuum?
Right on.
Okay, sifting through the pile, next step. This is another, now, questions come in 2 forms. This is where you start thinking about your questions. So you're going to go over all your questions and categorize them. And put a C if they are closed-ended questions. Put an O if they're open-ended questions. So a closed-ended question has a definitive answer, yes, no, 42, on Monday. Those are closed questions. Open questions require some kind of explanation. Is everyone clear on the closed and open? You have 5 minutes to categorize all your questions as closed or open.
These ones, right? The ones on your paper.
Yes.
Okay.
So now, Joanne,
Okay, a new 5 minutes.
I'll work with you.
3, 2, 1, we're
So
all
open what?
no, this is okay. Joanne, you can still hear me, right?
The answer, yes or no?
Good. So I'm going to read a question. Did you hear the prompt about closed-ended and open-ended? Good. I'll read a question. You write closed or open. You just have to write the letter C or the letter O, okay? What type of penguins are these? Closed or open?
So the open would be something like can they something
Open. How moldy is your fridge?
that's so close, right? Can they
So go and make, yeah, explain that as you go along.
Close. I agree. I'm not sure everyone would, but Joanne, I agree with you. Why are these penguins in the fridge?
How big are the penguins? They're all closed. We're looking at How did they get into the fridge?
Open, correct. How old are the penguins?
It's not really open.
So there's why are the
It's a factual answer.
Right. Where is the fridge?
someone use something there, but what do they do in the fridge? Open.
Good.
Closed, I agree. Do they miss Antarctica?
It's closed. Sort of. Are they?
Mostly closed, I'd say. Much was there. How moldy is your fridge?
Oh, sorry, do they miss Antarctica?
Can you expand on the moldiness of your refrigerator?
Yes.
Do they miss Antarctica?
What do they eat?
That's useful, right?
What do they do in the fridge?
Yeah, it could be any reason, yeah.
3 minutes still?
Penguins are
Okay.
except for unless it's just.
Oh, closed. What do they do in the fridge? I might have said something different, but we're just going to keep going. Were they hungry?
Yeah, but I'll just, so that column is.
Clearly, we're highly.
Yes.
highly-
What type of fridge? Yes. Give me some. What are the consequences to not? What is that saying?
What are the consequences of not dealing with the penguins?
Or what are the consequences with not dealing with the penguins in the fridge?
Do the penguins need to be dropped?
There's another.
Well, no, it could be closed, yes, it could be.
Is it unique to one shelf? Question mark.
Shelves. Yeah. Have you been into shelves?
Oh, sorry. Is it unique to one shelf? And can everyone see the penguins? Okay, and we'll stop there, Joanne. So I'm going to just tell you the next prompt, which is you're going to have to look at some of these questions now.
Alright,
We'll
so
show you.
good job, you guys. It looks like
Are we done?
we've done the open and the closed.
Okay.
So let's have a little bit of a discussion here. What are some of the advantages of closed-ended questions? Concludes things?
Could clarify.
Clarify? How quick is it?
I need to see the question. She'll need to read.
What are some disadvantages?
Shuts down the conversation, doesn't expand it at all.
Okay.
Feel like an interrogation.
Okay. And see if we can think outside the box a little bit. What are some of the advantages of open-ended questions?
You're inviting more ideas.
Okay. Good.
Tells a story, opens up.
All right. Excellent. Good. What are some of the disadvantages of open-ended questions?
People go on.
All right, so one of the things I'll often tie this back to is I come from the police world, and I'm in criminology, and a great deal of the students that I teach are looking at moving into the police world. Looking at this from the practical application of interviewing is absolutely phenomenal. There is a time and there is a place for both of those types of questions. And some of the ways that we can sort of juggle around is a closed-ended question can be defined as yes, no, or a very definitive short answer, red, 42. You could also narrow it to simply being yes or no. All right, but now let's move to the next step. And we're going to call this polishing your gems. I'd like you to look at a closed-ended question. Just pick any random closed-ended question. And I would like you as a group to change it to an open-ended question. And then I'd like you to do the other. Take a...
Yeah, pick a question you like one
Yeah,
of your
a good
faves.
question.
Pick a fave of yours for whatever reason and take a closed, make it open.
And take an open and make it closed. So you got one of each.
Do you like what?
How old is your fridge?
How moldy is your fridge? That would be, is your fridge moldy?
Yeah, all right, yeah. One pass on this, yeah.
What format? That's fine, but where I'm going to listen to different questions.
So, is that, did you guys mention that's
That's the
Closed?
open, how moldy is your fridge? We're
That's
thinking
open.
was open, and we
Okay, now
changed it to, is your fridge moldy? So how about, can everyone see the penguins?
They would
How would we make that look?
Let's say.
So for Joanne, she can pick any question. I don't know if she can do that. Sorry.
Everyone see the penguins?
Pick your favorite question.
Nowhere near your efforts.
What people see when they
Did you want
work.
us, did you want to each share one?
What do you see in the fridge?
Yeah. You're like,
She's typing.
describe the fridge content.
Oh yeah, that's a scary question for us to describe the fridge contents.
Oh,
So
She ready?
all managed to go one each way. Okay.
So did you, closed. Closed is open. The next one is over here.
Finding your focus.
Oh yeah, but, now it's time for you to choose 3 of the most important questions that you feel are going to help your team or your individuals on your team arrive at the solution. Like, what's this all about? Pick the 3 that you want to put forward and I'll answer them. So there'll be 6 questions altogether that you can, 3 and 3. So Joanne should pick what she thinks is the most important question that she needs to, and we'll give her.
So Joanne, select your most important question, the one that you think is the most important one for you.
So why, I'm just putting it possibility. Where are the penguins under the fridge?
What do they do in the fridge?
Put that number up there once.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which one?
What do they want to do?
Ah, excellent. I've got 25.
Activities do the penguins
Yeah, she said we can change things.
Okay, so now what we are doing is that just pick the most important question, the one that is most important to you.
Do you want 3 of each or 3?
No, just 3. You only get to
Because she
ask
said it's
3
a dairy
questions.
thing.
No, that kind of relates to where they come from.
I hate the smell of this.
Yeah, they're really bad.
You know, but they're for the bar.
I know. I'm pretty sure brown one.
How about Canadian?
So, one more. So we've got, how many penguins are there? This is such a.
I'm going to get up the or this one.
How long are they in the fridge or how do
When did you first discover this?
Okay. Okay.
That was such so much sincerity.
in the fridge?
Tell me about it.
Tell me more.
Yeah,
That's not a question.
Yeah. That's it.
They should be able to walk
Or is it six?
Why
It is.
It's not a question.
do taste spray?
Okay.
So this is a very monopoly team from outside your team. So we did it when they were doing it individually.
Being
They
the description of
experienced
the fridge.
those new
Is it
ideas,
what's
and now
going
they're in
on?
team.
One of my questions
So
I
I
had to
think
go into the
that's
sheet
why
was, are the penguins wearing bow ties?
All right, I think we're good.
Very good. And that's really, I think, the most important.
Oh, this is the one that, here.
Where's Joanne?
Oh, she had to step away for a second.
That's number 5.
I don't know. What's that?
Peter, Joanne, go over.
Oh, Joan. Blubbers.
Oh,
Okay,
Joan.
Do you have your 3 questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
And do you have 3 questions?
Walk upstairs, girl.
Okay. And Joanne has 1 question for us,
Actually,
right?
it's Joan, sorry.
Joan, I'm so sorry, Joan, I had the wrong name. So that was Joan, so it's Joan
She
that
had
has
to
the
step
question.
away for a second. For a few minutes.
Focus of questions
Okay.
about penguins being in the fridge.
Now, you're about to ask a question, and at the end of the questions, I can answer them as you go along, and at the end, I can show you a solution. Before that, I'd like you to go back to sluggy brain and sparkly brain. How are you doing at this point? Write down a number next to your other numbers about how your brain is doing. If it were a car, how well is it running? Okay, now I think, did Joan come back with a question? Okay, do you want to do 3 and 3 or do you want to alternate? alternate. This team, your first question.
How did they get there?
How did they get there? My daughter put them there. Next question.
Can you tell us more about when you first discovered the penguins?
Yes, I can tell you more about that.
Are they real penguins?
They are real penguins. This question.
Why are there penguins in the fridge?
Why are
there penguins?
Why are there penguins in the fridge? Because Emily felt that they belonged there. Next question. Underlying issue. I'm not sure what the question means.
That's a good question.
Underlying issue. Did I say there was an issue?
Yes.
Okay. This is an issue. Yes, that this is an issue in my. The issue is I see them every single day, without fail. There's never a day that goes by that I don't look at penguins in the fridge. And I think there's one more question here.
What activities do the penguins engage in on a daily basis?
Ooh, good question, Emily. Would you please field that one?
I feel like they just hang out there.
They're chill. They chill. They chill. Do we have an answer from Joan?
No, not yet.
Okay, so we may get a question from Joan. She dropped out, unfortunately. But okay, are you ready to see the solution?
Yeah.
First of all, did any question from the other team change how you were thinking about things?
Yes.
Yes, I heard a yes. So what did you hear that changed your thinking?
She said.
Oh, yes.
I did.
Okay, so what
I
did you?
did. I don't remember what the question was, but I thought, oh yeah, that kind of built on to
Ah, see that word build on? I want you to remember that. First of all, let's share the solution.
I don't know the online person.
I've seen from your
Thanks for testing it.
Sorry for Joe, sorry for mispronouncing your name.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
This is, Joan, this is the solution. I'm sorry that you missed all the.
Okay.
So when people ask if they're real, they're absolutely real. I can touch them, I can feel them. What you meant maybe was, are they alive? And I have the students get stuck on that one. So now.
So if we had given the question, are they alive or dead?
I would have to say they're dead. Yeah.
And then we should have asked if they were cookies or they were not.
Yes.
Building.
They're not alive. So probably the more precise question is, are they alive? You give me a yes or no firm. So if they're, I don't know, I think they're neither alive nor dead. Maybe that's the most, they're neither, the question, my answer would have to be neither. So notice that penguins in the fridge was odd, but it didn't say good thing or bad thing. So I left you with the whole wide world of imagination. Normally you wouldn't have that 5 minutes to yourself. How did you like spending 5 minutes with yourself? I heard some giggling. Just writing questions. What was that like? Hard or easy? Easy? Enjoyable? Would you say it was enjoyable?
Yeah.
Now, in this room we're educators. It's probably true to say that we enjoy the company of our own mind and how it works, and we wouldn't really be in this field. For some students, it's actually obnoxious to spend time in your own thoughts. or it's hard, or they're just not, they're still at the beginning. So I believe that the two scientists who are doing this would not normally have you do the 5 minutes alone, because it could be a barrier to some students. However, if you would normally just jump right in at this stage. I noticed that there was a little bit of breakout here. I'm not sure exactly how it went, but you did the activity as directed, which is you had a scribe who scribed everything. This one, there was so much energy here. They had breakout scribes. And there's no problem with that, except there's an act of honoring that happens when your question gets said to the scribe. Everyone has to hear it as is, and it gets written down as is. So it's your time to say, I had an idea, and it's on that page. Now, you might have been doing that. You might have been so much flurried that you were each taking time to notice that question.
We did, actually. But we
Yeah.
just go right in past it.
Yeah, so that's totally, so long as everyone gets their day in the sun and their ideas are down verbatim, you want the honoring, you want to honor those. So just, this is a new innovation that I hadn't seen before. And it has, you get way more questions, but you don't get the validation that comes unless you each say it. Everyone hears it and you write it down. Okay, so where are we now? Find your focus. What comes next? Okay, now I probably, before showing you the solution, should have done. So normally, if you were stuck on climate change or an investigation or a thesis point, you would say, how am I going to use these questions?
Which comes back to actually the sidebar discussion I had with this group is, what is the purpose? Why are we asking these questions? And that is something that I very much have set up in my class that I wasn't really sure if it was going to work. I want you to be thinking about your term paper. And so that we started off, as Jessica said, it's wide open. You blow the field open. And I really, really like and find it incredibly difficult to adhere to those 4 basic rules. Yeah. I am judging everything. I walk up, oh, good, quiet, Marion. Oh, no, quiet, Marion. Big smile of eye contact.
I know.
That is a judgment.
It is.
And it's very difficult, I find, as a facilitator and as a classroom leader to not, oh, good, Kristen, nice. Can't be doing that. Trying to answer the question, well, you don't really, this is the answer. It's very difficult to manage that, because what that does is it cuts off the creativity, it cuts off the next step that student may be going to. And you can't get inside their minds to find out where they're going. So the idea of that number 6, is asking what comes next. Is, as somebody facilitating this, the point is, what is the point? What are you trying to get them to look at? You're having a guest speaker coming, and we want you asking intelligent, articulate questions that link to something about gangs. Well, I would have a Q focus then that had something to do with gangs in Lower Mainland. And nobody has answered anything. But this number here, my suggestion is, starts to crawl up here if people aren't asleep. Yes?
So I'm just wondering about your cue. Is it always just like that's just kind of a noun?
It's very short. It's not even necessary.
Not a question.
I've used gender matters,
right.
Which could be, like, there's a double entendre in that. They could take it either way. What have you used for cue focus?
We used, what was hunger and crime?
Yeah, hunger and crime.
Like, we don't finish. We don't put in our own
So
opinions.
no judgment, no question, no.
And this is the hardest part as the educator, is being truly artistic with the cue focus. You get way more hay the more clever you are with this. Now, before I probably should have shown you the solution. I was so eager to show you that the real issue here is, how much did you learn without even hearing any answers? How much did you describe the space of the problem, the context? How much was revealed to you before you even heard a single answer about penguins or about how each other thought? So is that our next? Is just to so we're on step 7. What did you learn, and how can you use what you learned with this process? What did you learn about yourself or others or the subject in hand? This is just out loud. Let's say popcorn. on what you thought you learned.
I just have a question about the guest speaker. So do you, for example, when you know they're coming and you know what their topic's going to be, do you do this question focus prior to that class?
Yes, but I didn't tell them that that's what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
It was just an activity to generate the firing of neurons, to get them, as Jeff has said, that they expand the scope, they expand the time frame, they give it context. They're doing all of that without even realizing that they're doing it.
And then the next class.
And then guess what? It was 2 or 3 classes later, this guy showed up. And you could see the trend of some of these were. And in fact, one of the critiques I got back was, I just wish he didn't have so much to say because, I mean, he said his name and I just had to start asking questions. Well, he came to give some information. Like, maybe we went too far on that. And I just thought that was a very interesting critique.
Yeah.
I was thinking that the question focus has to be broad enough for people to generate questions.
Yes.
And get them going.
Yes.
Similarly, you could use a picture
Yes.
to do the same thing.
That's in the book as well. You can use any stimulus. They could watch a video.
A song, a work of art, an image.
Yeah. Brand name, anything like that. It's basically a simple artifact. It could be an intellectual artifact like that, or any artifact would work, and it's encouraged. Some people do it around, piece of music. Yeah, you're right. So the last question, and this is what you ask students as well, is how can you use what you learned about questioning, about what you. First of all, let's have a check-in on Sluggy Brain and Sparkly Brain. Has anybody? Did you hold steady? Did you notice any change? Anybody?
No, I definitely feel more. I just taught this morning, so I was pretty tired coming in.
Right.
And I definitely feel a bit more awake.
How do you understand the change in your experience?
I feel a little bit clearer in my head, and I also drink protein shakes, so that helped. But
All right. Good. Okay.
Extreme is variable here, but I actually do think it was also just engaging, not just in the questions, but also with the group and interacting. That was invigorating.
I would say that our group's energy went down a little bit when we were trying to choose the three most important question, because I think we were floundering a little bit, wondering why are we doing this?
Right.
Right. So because if we knew why, then it would be easy to choose the three most important questions.
Right. Right.
And so I think I was a little bit sluggish, and I heard other people were a little bit as well.
So that's where you that's where you got the bumpy roads, your car, or things where you didn't, your road wasn't smooth, and you couldn't just proceed at where you were. So that aside, were there any other changes, like from your starting point, before you got to that, were there any changes that you noticed? Or was it just business as usual for your brain today?
Well, I think I began to question, depending on what groups of students you have, because I've been coming from an engineering world, and, going into meetings with engineers and so on, they're very, very focused, and then other groups like the military or police or even fire are, because it's more paramilitary, and they're almost conditioned from day one not to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I found the engineering, and even healthcare workers are used to asking a lot of questions.
Right.
So I just found, okay, how can I use this for? And I don't know if the research or the science focuses
science
with different groups.
It does. Yeah. So read, make just one change, and the change you're supposed to make is have them ask the questions.
Well, yeah.
That's the change.
It sort of reminded me like a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old. Why?
Exactly. Now, I can tell you, reading this book, make just one change, and then going into these books, you can see how training people in this Right Question Institute leads you to people who go, that doesn't make sense. What if we combine this with that? And there's a few other things here that lead to genius things, but the ability, another metaphor they use is think of your brain, your questioning part of your brain as a muscle, and it's very atrophied. The more years of education you get, it can be quite atrophied. Young kids ask the questions. As we go through school, you're supposed to shut up and learn. Now we want to reverse that, but we don't want to just invite chaos. So there's one more. do you have anything? I wanted to just
No,
show.
let's move into the next piece. I think that's
I want
relevant.
you to come and observe the 2 P's. There's one final learning point that's not part of the book, but it's part of diversity. Did you notice we didn't do this as a class? I broke you into teams. So can we all come around these questions? And I'd like you to see, are they essentially the same, or are there any differences in the quality, quantity, or any way